This is the HPT.
Sit right down, put on your poker face, you with the big dogs now. Better bring your best game, talk trash all you want. To me it's all the same, you won't leave with much when you come in second place. And I'm the one with the stack showing 7 to the jack. Gon' cry to your mama cause I'm sending you back. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand. Last man standing with the money in my hand. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the HPT. I'm James Larson, joined by professional poker player Mr. Robert Williamson III. This week, the HPT back on the road once again, and we are at the Ameristar Casino Hotel, East Chicago. It's going to be a great event. We had 432 entries, and we are down to our final 9 players.
And those entries built a massive prize pool, over $600,000, $142,000 to the winner tonight.
So we start with 432, and now we are down to our final 9. They will play tonight right here on national television. So with no further ado, let's go ahead and meet those players, and most importantly, take a look at the prize pool.
Over $600,000 in this prize pool, but the most important part, as we both know, $142,386 going to our winner today.
We had 432 entrants. We paid 45. And tonight, your final 9 sit down at this nationally televised final table.
And our chip leader tonight's Greg Pateladakis with almost $3 million in chips. Right behind him, though, is Joe, Jeremy, and Mike. And our short stack tonight, Steve Sloan, he's going to have to make a move pretty quick.
So we started with 432 entrants, Robert. We paid 45, and now we are down to our final 9, and we will crown a new HPT champion this week from the Ameristar Casino Hotel, East Chicago. Action is on the 9 seat of Joe. He looks down at ace-queen.
Reaching for chips, he opens the pot for a raise.
Joe is 49 years old. He's a business owner. Him and his wife going on 20 years of marriage, so congratulations to them. Action now is folded around to Rob. He's from Chicago, Illinois. His plans for the cash, he's going to buy some dog treats. I kind of like that.
Well, I always like to treat my dog well, too.
Action now on Kenny Nguyen. They call him Super Tuan. He's from Vietnam, over $400,000 in lifetime earnings. He's going to fold. And now over to Mike D. He looks down at ace-jack of diamonds.
250.
And it's a 3-bet now. He's going to re-raise to $250,000 with his ace-jack.
Well, that's a trouble spot when you re-raise with ace-jack. I've always had a real hard time with that myself, James.
Steve Sloan's going to get out of the way. Now over to Jeremy. Jeremy is a pest control engineer. Wakes up in the morning, kills bugs, and he grinds poker at night.
Well, so you can say he's an exterminator by day and also by night.
Action back over to Joe to make the call now. The original raiser here. He's got the best hand, as you can see. You know, it's nice having the whole card cameras. Let me tell you, the best part of this job is we get to watch the poker and watch the whole cards. Makes it a whole lot easier, my friend.
I like to see their expressions, too, like Mike's expression right there.
All right, we go to the flop after Joe makes the call, and the flop comes out Jack 10 tray.
Great flop for Mike D. Flops top pair, top kicker. Joe still with the gut shot and overcards to the board.
Joe checks over to Mike D. Mike D's 27 years old. He finished 7th back in 2013. He's got over $100,000 in lifetime earnings. He just got married himself, so congratulations to Mike D. He's going to make a bet of $200,000. Action over to Joe, and Joe's not going anywhere.
No, I don't blame him, actually. You've already called a re-raise pre-flop. You've got to see another card.
All right, a pot now of over 1 million chips, and we look at the turn card. It's the 7 of spades.
Not the card Joe was looking for. I think we might see him tighten up a little bit on this street.
Joe started playing poker in 2005. Hired a poker coach and took some training classes. I've talked to a lot of people that do that now, Robert. You know, just investing more into the game. Both players check, and we go to the river. It's the 8 of diamonds, so no help at all for Joe.
Well, that's the only problem with checking that turn from Mike D there was this exact scenario. An 8 or 9 comes, there's 4 cards to a straight on the board.
And now Joe's reaching for chips.
I don't blame him trying to represent this straight, but I don't think Mike D's going to go for that. Too small of a bet as well. $250,000 into a little over 1 million chip pot.
And Mike D is going to make the call. Going to flip over the cards, and he's going to see that he is the winner of the first hand of the night right here on the HPT. It's time for us to step aside. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to the HPT. I'm James Larson, joined by Robert Williamson III. We're broadcasting from the Ameristar Casino Hotel, East Chicago. And I have to say, Robert, it's great to be back here in the Chicagoland area.
It sure is, James. There's always something going on, lots to do here, and 7 great restaurants. You know me and food.
And a prize pool of over $600,000. With all that said, let's get back to the action. Taking a look at the chip counts, they're all bundled up like planes trying to land in LaGuardia.
Not a lot's changed so far, James. Greg's still on top, and I'll tell you what, Mike D won that one really nice pot, but the victim of it was Joe. Steve Sloan's still rounding out the bottom of the stack. He's going to have to make a move soon.
Great to be back here in East Chicago. We know so many of the players. It's kind of old home week for us. And we had some notables that made the money. Bob Chow finished in 13th place. Mike Puccio, you remember Pucci won this thing before.
Gotta love Mike.
He finished in 20th place. George Dietz, 21st. And who can forget Patty Bott? She finished 42nd in this event. So the event was supported by everybody. We had 432 entries. We paid $45, a nice prize pool of just over $619,000. Action is on Mike. Mike's in the 2 seat. They call him Narco Cop, and they call him that for a reason. He's a narcotics officer. That's his nickname here in the poker room.
It makes a lot more sense now that you explained it to me.
Mike's going to raise it up to $100,000 with his 7-5 of diamonds. Melos is going to make the call with the HPT special, the King Queen. And now we go to Rob on the button. Looks down at Ace Deuce.
Weak aces after 2 people have entered the pot is not the type of hand I like to play in this spot, James. Even on the button.
Rob told us he wakes up in the morning, does a little meditation, and then he takes the dog for a walk. Sounds like a perfect morning to me.
Not a bad life.
Over to the blinds we go now. Kenny's going to fold his hand with 9 deuce, as does Mike D. So we go heads up to the flop now. The King Queen going up against Mike's 7-5 of diamonds. 10-6 trade, they're all diamonds. Mike flops the flush, but Melos, as you can see, has the king of diamonds, so Mike's hoping the hand slows down a little bit right now.
This could get interesting fast, James.
Mike's 38 years old. He's got $105,000 in lifetime poker earnings. His plans for the cash, he wants to buy a new car for his wife. It's the right thing to say, my friend. That is the right thing to say. Mike's going to bet $135,000.
Happy wife, happy life.
Mike's going to bet $135,000. Action now over to Melos, and he's going to raise it up to $300K.
Well, he's trying to represent what Mike actually has. Sometimes that can be a little bit of a problem.
Now, if you're Mike here, what do you want him to do? He's made his flush. You want to get all the chips in right here?
I have to shove. If I am Mike here, if he has a bigger flush than me, good luck to you. I have to shove here. Can't let another card come off because he could just have 1 diamond like Melos has.
And he does just that. He's going to go all in. So now a big decision here to Melos early on in this 9-headed final table. Does he want to hang around to try to catch another diamond?
Well, the only problem with Melos even considering this call is if Mike has the ace of diamonds, Melos is really drawing slim here. I think if Melos had made that raise with the ace of diamonds, he goes ahead and calls this, but not with the king, and he makes the right fold.
So Mike is going to win that pot of almost 2 million chips. We talked to him before the final table, and he told us he had a terrible day 1. Day 2 was a whole lot better. He went from $75,000 to $400,000 in just a couple of levels. And Robert, talk about the marathon it takes. We see the final table, we see the final line, but these guys have been playing for 2.5, 3 days.
And long hours as well, James. It really is a marathon, but you have to keep in mind the turtle wins the race, not the hare.
And the other issue is these guys play way into the morning last night. This morning, so they're playing until 3:30 in the morning. You got to get to bed. You got to get back. We put makeup on and we stick a camera in front of their face, and now they've got to play on national TV. But that's what it's all about here on the HPT. Melos is going to raise to $115,000 with his pocket 8. Folded now to Kenny.
Sometimes it's hard to sleep that night before a final table, so you stay up late playing, you got the adrenaline flowing, and then you have to wind down and try to sleep just to make sure you're really on your game and solid for the next day.
Action now on Steve Sloan. He says this is the one. He's going to get all his chips in the middle with 10-9.
I think he's going to be happy to see that he actually has 2 overcards to Melos' pair.
Yeah, Melos makes the call, and we go to the flop, and it comes out ace, king, 10, Robert. Great news for Steve Sloan.
That's absolutely what Steve wanted to see, a 9 or a 10 on this flop, and his wish was granted. You know, when you have a short stack, you have to get a little lucky too sometimes.
Turn card now is the Jack of Spades. Not a great card for Steve.
Well, now if a queen comes, he only gets half this pot, but if an 8 comes, Steve's out.
The river card is the 7 of clubs, so the winner of the hand, Steve Sloan, the 45-year-old electrician from Mendota, Illinois. Now, Robert, at home, he's got 4 daughters. 4 daughters!
That's a lot of girl power. I'll tell you what, I grew up with 3 sisters. I'm used to having a lot of that girl power around.
His oldest daughter is serving in the Army and will be married this year, so congratulations to them. Steve has placed 36th in the HPT, 18th, as well as a 5th place. So we welcome him back to an HPT final table. By the way, a whole lot of cash on the line tonight. Up top, $142,386. I've been on this show now for 8 years, and I remember back in the day we used to give out $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. I watched this thing grow, and it's just awesome to give out cash like we are tonight on the HPT.
It's a great feeling, James, but the only feeling that's even better is when it's cash is coming your way.
Action is folded around to the 9 seat of Joe. Joe looks down at A7. He's going to fold. Now over to the 1 seat. Greg's going to raise it up with his King Jack. He raises to $125,000. Greg played basketball his entire life and in college. Says he wants to be the next poker legend. I kind of like that. You got to have confidence in the game, Robbie. You have to.
I don't know if there'll ever be another Doyle Brunson, though. That's my only caveat.
Action over to Melos now. He looks down at pocket trays, and he's going to go all in. He's on the short stack, and he's all in. Rob looks down at King 9.
Well, Melos is able to apply maximum pressure there. He has just the perfect stack size for 3-betting.
Folded around now to Greg. Almost 500,000 more chips for Greg to make this call. Greg is our chip leader here at this final table, Robert, and he's going to make the call.
Well, unfortunately for Melos, he raised the wrong stack. He raised the big stack, and Greg could afford to make this call.
Melos currently in the lead with his pocket trays, but he's got to fade 2 big overcards. And the flop is 8-7-4, so far so good for Melos.
A king or a jack would be the quick fix for Greg. Oh my gosh, and right as I said it, king comes rolling off the deck.
Just like that, the king of spades comes on the turn, putting Greg in the lead, and Melos drawing to the last 2 threes in the deck. Otherwise, he's going to be eliminated in 9th place. And the river card is the deuce of hearts, so that is going to do it for Melos. He's going to be eliminated. A nice little payday, though, $13,867.
Congratulations to Milos Ivanovic.
And when we come back after this quick commercial break, 8 players remain at this nationally televised final table.
With the elimination of Melos in 9th place, taking home almost $14,000, we're down to 8.
Welcome back to the HPT. We broadcast this week from the Ameristar Casino Hotel East Chicago. I'm James Larson, joined by the pride of Dallas, Texas, Mr. Robert Williamson III.
And James, Greg is still on top. As a matter of fact, he's actually increased his chip lead. Steve Sloan still the short stack. It's going to need to get some more double ups going.
So let's get back to the action. We'll start with Mike in the 2 seat. Looks down at King Jack. He's going to fold. Now over to Rob.
You know, that's a little bit of a tightish fold, but sometimes in early position, you have to be careful on the hands that you pick to play.
Rob's going to fold over to Kenny. Kenny releases his hand, as does Mike D. Now over to Steve Sloan. His buddies call him Sloaney here at the poker table.
Well, if it's folded around to me and I'm on the button with this stack size, I'm shoving all in.
Talked to Steve before the final table started. He's just a nice guy. It's great to see that he made this final table. And he's going to get all his chips in the middle with his King 9 of spades. And now over to Jeremy. He woke up with a real hand, the Ace King. And Jeremy says he makes the call. Over to Joe now. I mean, he's got a decent hand. He's got the HPT special, the King Queen.
I don't think I would call all the same. It's just a hair too much more.
Now over to the 1 seat of Greg, our chip leader. Looks down at 9-6. He's going to get his hand in the muck. So now we're heads up. Jeremy and Steve. Steve all in for his tournament life, and he's behind right now to the Ace-King.
Yeah, unfortunately for Steve, he got unlucky that his hand is dominated here. He's going to need a little bit more luck on this flop.
The flop is 7-6-5, couple of clubs.
Well, now an 8 will help Steve because that'll make him a straight, but a 9 would be his quick fix.
And we go to the turn card now. Turn card now is the 4 of clubs, neither player holding a club in their hand, and it's down to one more street for Steve Sloan.
Well, now a 3 would get Steve half of this pot, so he picks up a few more outs.
If he doesn't improve, he'll be eliminated in 8th place, and it's the 10 of spades on the river, and that is going to do it for Steve Sloan. He's going to hit the rail, but not before he collects $16,406. Talked about this before. He's a great guy. Congratulations, Steve. We hope to see you at another HPT final table. We broadcast from the Ameristar Casino Hotel. Great to be back here in the Chicagoland area. And how about the food? I love this place. I just went to Bugatti's and had a steak. Phenomenal.
Yeah, have you tried the porterhouse? 26 ounces, they say.
I'm coming back here. I like this place. Action folded around now to the 9 seat of Joe. Joe's a business owner. We talked about it before. He hired a poker coach. He says if you want to succeed, you got to put the work in. And it got him to this final table. He folds his hand over to Greg. He's going to raise to $125,000 with his ace-queen. Everything's going right for Greg. He's got the chips, he's got the momentum, and he's picking up hands. Action over to Rob. He told me for most of day 2 he had less than 15 big blinds, but he grinded, and he got to this HPT nationally televised final table. And now he's elected to get all those chips in the middle with King 9.
Well, once again, Greg's the big stack. He can afford to gamble here. He's definitely going to make that call.
So Greg makes the call. It's ace-queen going up against King 9, and it might be a short night for us here on the HPT if we keep losing people, Robert.
Tell you what, James, sometimes it happens this way.
The flop is 10-8 tray, so no help for Rob.
Well, he's got some backdoor outs, or a king and a 9 help his hand out a whole lot.
Turn card now, the 4 of spades.
Now only a king or 9 will save Rob.
A pot of over 1.2 million chips. We go to the river card. And it's the 9 of clubs. Just like that, one of his outs hits on the river, and Rob is going to win the hand.
First time today, Greg looks a little sick and upset about that 9 coming on the river.
Action continues here from the Ameristar. Blinds are 30,000, 60,000 with a 10K ante. Action on Joe in the 9 seat. He's going to fold. Over to Greg now, steaming a little bit from that last hand, but he's still got plenty of chips, Robert. No reason to be upset, no reason to go on tilt. Action over to Rob, who recently doubled up. He's going to go ahead and raise it up to $125,000 with his 9-8 of diamonds. He's got some chips, and he's going to start playing with them.
He's put his chips right back into action. You got to like that as a player.
Jeremy is going to make the call with his 10-6 of spades. Jeremy's in the big blind, so he's defending. And the flop is ace-6 tray, couple of clubs. Jeremy pairs his 6, and he's going to check over to Rob.
I think we're going to see Rob try to represent this ace, because a lot of times people put you on an ace when you're raising pre-flop.
Rob is reaching for chips. He's going to make a bet of $110,000. Action over to Jeremy now, who won his seat here through a qualifier. He's going to go ahead and raise it to $230,000. I like it, Robbie.
I'll tell you what, especially because he's out of position here, I don't mind this raise, but Rob might sniff this out. He looks like he's reaching for more chips.
Wow, I'm really surprised at that. A re-raise to $360,000. Unbelievable. And Jeremy's going to go ahead and make the call. How does he do that, Robert?
And let the meta games begin. I think they've gotten into each other's heads here.
Unbelievable. I love the re-raise by Rob. It should make Jeremy go away, especially for the fact that all he has is the pair of 6s.
Well, I think this street will see things slow down a little bit.
Deuce of hearts now comes on the turn. These guys are going to love watching this hand on television. Unbelievable. And Jeremy's not slowing down at all. And he's got the best hand. He's going to go ahead and bet $260,000. And Rob, you tried, man. You tried once. You tried twice. I think he's realizing, I got to let this thing go. All right, and Rob is going to fold. Jeremy's going to win that hand. And Robert, before we go to commercial break, I want to ask you about Jeremy. Do you think he can be our next HPT champion and take this thing down?
The way he's playing tonight so far, James, I'm telling you, this guy's got a lot of moves. Check raise the flop, gets called with air, and then still leads the turn. He's playing well tonight.
And the best thing for Jeremy, he's into this tournament on a qualifier. And folks, you can do that too. Find an event that will work for you. Just check out our webpage at hptpoker.com. And who knows, maybe you'll be playing for the life-changing cash. We'll be right back after these messages.
With the elimination of Steve in 8th place, taking home over $16,000, we are now down to 7. Let's get back to the action.
Welcome back to the HPT. It's James Larson and Robert Williamson III broadcasting from the Ameristar Casino Hotel East Chicago. Let's go ahead and take a look at the chip counts.
Tell you what, we've got a new chip leader, James. Jeremy's still hanging tough, and the two Mikes following closely behind.
Robert, it's so great to be back here at the Ameristar Casino Hotel East Chicago. The property features a 56,000 square foot casino, a hotel with 288 rooms and suites, a fitness center, 6 dining venues, 2 lounges, and 5,400 square feet of meeting and event place. This is the place to be, the Ameristar Casino Hotel East Chicago.
We always have a really good time here, James. How about the Stadium Sports Bar and Grill? Had a great place to gather up after a long day of poker.
We actually got everybody in the other night, and we watched an HPT episode as it airs right here in this market on Comcast Sportsnet Chicago. It was a blast, and I love hanging out in that sports bar. Jeremy's going to raise it up to $135,000 with his King Jack. I like this Jeremy. He's got the right mindset. We talked to him before the final table. He wants to be our next champion. He's got a lot of drive, and he can play poker too. He's got some game, my friend.
He's definitely got some game.
When he's not playing here, he's playing over at Jimmy's game. He wants to give a shout out to all the grinders and the rounders watching him right here on national television. Maybe we'll get invited to Jimmy's game sometime. It sounds kind of fun. The flop is King 9-4, a couple of spades.
Well, Jeremy's going to like that flop. He flops top pair.
Greg makes the call. You saw pre-flop with his pocket fives. He's going to check over to Jeremy. Jeremy got the best of that flop, pairing his king. He's reaching for chips. Jeremy on the button is going to bet $145,000. Look at that. Greg with a real quick call.
Yeah, an insta call. I think I might have taken a little more time to think about this with 2 overcards to his pair of fives on the board.
Greg came to this final table as our chip leader, and Robert, we noticed early on, he likes to gamble a little bit.
Definitely has some gamble to him, that's for sure.
Turn card now is the ace of hearts.
Well, that might slow things down a bit.
Both players checking that turn card. And now we go to the river card.
River card is the 3 of spades.
And it's the tray of spades. So now Greg is reaching for chips, and I think he's probably going to get a call here by Jeremy.
The story that Greg's telling right now is just not a believable story. And I agree with you, James. I think Jeremy's going to have to make this call.
And Jeremy does just that. He makes the call of $165,000. And Greg, yeah, you do got to flip over your cards. Jeremy is going to win the hand. We talked about it before. Jeremy is an exterminator by day and a grinder by night. He was down to $3K at the dinner break, and he grinded it all the way back, and now he's at this final table. We've heard a couple stories like that. And Robert, when you're on the short stack, you don't have to give up. You grind, you wait for positions, and you double up, you triple up, and you're right back in it.
I see it so many times, James. People just give up. They just literally lose their hope, and you don't have to give up. If you keep fighting, you can end up at a final table just like Jeremy is.
I gain so much respect for poker players, not for so much their titles and the cash they've won. It's what you can do in situations like that, especially being on the short stack. And the guy who really does it the best is Phil Hellmuth. I've seen him.
Oh, wow. Yeah, talk about short stack specialist. He might be the best of all time at short stacking. He really is an excellent player at it.
Action folded around to the 9 seat of Joe. He's on the button. Reaching for some chips to raise here. Saw Joe get into a hand early on at this final table. This time he's got Queen 10. He's going to raise to $160,000. Over now to Mike in the 2 seat. Mike works for the Chicago Police Department. He's 38 years old. Talked about this before. He's going to buy his wife a new car with the winnings.
Happy wife, happy life.
He just knows what to say. That's the right thing to say, my friend. He's going to make the call. And we go heads up to the flop. It's 10-9-5, couple of diamonds.
Well, Joe flops top pair. Nothing really fitting into Mike's hand here.
Mike, like I said, full-time as a tactical officer for the Chicago Police Department. That's how he got his nickname, Narco Cop. It's okay to call him that. He told us that we could call him Narco Cop. That's what they call him here in the poker room. Joe's going to bet $225,000.
Is the bet by Joe. Action's back to Mike in the 2 seat.
Action back over to Mike.
This is a highly coordinated flop, and Mike makes a great laydown. Couldn't continue on there, and Joe's going to take down this pot.
Joe is 49 years old. He's a business owner and has an electrical engineering degree from the University of Illinois, Champaign. He's one of those smart guys, I have a feeling.
Sounds like it.
Action continues here. Blinds are 40,000, 80,000 with a 10K ante. It's James Larson and Robert Williamson III. And look at that. Pocket kings for Kenny.
I'd never mind looking down and seeing a big pair staring back at me.
They call him Super Tuan around here. He's a business owner himself. He's from Vietnam with over $400,000 in lifetime earnings. He's going to raise it up to $165,000. And look, he's got a little more pep in his step there. It's like his tail's wagging a little bit.
Oh my gosh, and look at this. Mike D just wakes up with aces.
Unbelievable turn of events. Kenny's not going to be smiling much after this.
Oh, I don't think so.
And now, how much does Mike D re-raise here, Robert?
Well, he definitely doesn't want to let in a lot of overcallers, so he has to raise this one, I believe.
Mike D's told us he loves video games, ping pong, and the Detroit Lions. Not much to cheer about for his football team, but he's happy right here. A 3-bet to $325,000. Now over to Jeremy, looks down at 6 tray. Action on the 9 seat of Joe. He looks down at King Jack with a 3-bet. That's probably an easy fold for him.
Yes, indeed.
Rob's going to get out of the way, and now action back to Kenny, and we're probably going to see all his chips maybe go in the middle here, Robbie.
Yeah, if I'm Kenny, it just happens. Sometimes you run into a bigger pair. I'm going to go all in. Mike's going to go instantly all in, and I'm going to have to try to get lucky, James. That's what I would do.
Kenny's about 5 seconds from running right into the buzzsaw.
Oh, I knew that. I could hear the buzzsaw warming up.
And he's just going to 4-bet to $650,000. And Mike D loves every second of this hand. And Kenny has no idea. Has no idea he's running right into aces.
I'll tell you what. Now, if I'm Mike D, I might have just called there and tried to trap him for sure. But I think that all the chips are going in regardless.
And he's going to make the call, and Kenny sees the bad news. It's the buzzsaw. It's a cooler. We still have a flop turn in river. But right now, the ace is dominating Kenny's pocket kings.
Well, even more bad news for Kenny, James. There's only one king left. We saw one of the kings folded.
Mike D's in great shape here. Win a huge pot. We still got to get through the flop. And right in the window, the ace of diamonds. Ace, 9-5, 2 diamonds. Everything going Mike D's way.
Well, only a running diamonds can get Kenny out of this situation.
And the 5 of clubs comes on the turn, and that's going to do it for Kenny. He's going to be eliminated, going out in 7th place with almost $20,000.
So you're saying Super Tuan wasn't so super today?
Well, he ran kings into aces. Not much you can do there, but congratulations on making his 2nd HPT final table. And when we come back, Robert, 6 players remain. The action will continue.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the HPT here from the Ameristar Casino and Hotel in East Chicago. We're down to the final 6 players. Let's get these cards back in the air.
Well, not a lot's changed on the very top of the leaderboard. Jeremy's still up on top, but 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, there's been a bit of shuffling. Mike D, Mike Y, and then Greg in 4th place. Rob rounding out our short stack at this table.
Blinds are 40,000, 80,000 with a 10K ante. Action on the 1 seat of Greg. Looks down at Ace King. Greg's kind of been riding the roller coaster. He started as our chip leader. He lost some chips. Now he's trying to get some back. It's a good start here with the Ace King.
Big Slick's a good hand to get it started on.
It's going to raise to $175,000. Mike gets out of the way. Over to Rob now. Rob looks down at Queen 6. Rob's going to fold. Now to the button we go. And Mike D, who just won a huge hand, knocking out Kenny. Aces versus kings. Nothing better than waking up with aces and having your opponent wake up with kings.
Only if you're on the aces side of that coin.
And he's going to make a call on the button here with King Jack. Now we go over to the blinds. First, Jeremy, the pest control engineer. He's going to fold now to the big blind of Joe. Joe looks down at 7-5 of diamonds. We'll see if he defends with that.
Once again, I like defending with hands like this. Low-suited connectors. A lot of times it's really hard for your opponents to put you on those type of hands.
Joe's plans for the cash. He told us he wants to buy a Tesla Model X. Well, I think he's going to have to win this thing to get that kind of car. And we go to the flop. Couple of 8s and a 4, 2 diamonds.
And a straight flush draw, as well as a straight and a flush draw for Joe.
Joe's going to check over to Greg. We'll see if he does the continuation bet.
Yeah, you know, I'm really kind of frowning upon the continuation bet, James. I think it's just being overused these days.
Greg's gonna bet.
Greg's 31 years old, full-time poker player from the Chicagoland, over $200,000 in earnings. He's going to bet $180,000. Action over to Mike D, and Mike D just looks like one of these sneaky good poker players. And Mike's going to raise it up. I like it.
Well, speaking of sneaky, he's raising with the king high. That's more than a float. That's a lot of error.
He's going to raise to $500,000. Now a tough decision over here for Joe.
I think Joe's really only got two choices, James. He can either fold or go all in. I don't think he can do anything in the middle.
And he's going to fold. He's going to get out of the way. So action back to the original better here of Greg. Hey, Greg's going to fold. So the winner of the hand is Mike D. And we got to talk about Mike here. He's really picking up steam. He won that hand against Kenny. Now he won this pot. Things looking good for Mike D.
Well, one pot, he had a real hand. This pot, a little less, but he did outplay his opponent and took down the pot.
27 years old. His second HPT final table back in 2013. Mike finished 27th. He works in logistics. I'm not even sure what that means, my friend.
I don't even know if I could spell it. What do you mean know what it means?
And speaking of aces and speaking of logistics, he's got them again. Pocket aces for Mike D.
I thought you had to turn those in between hands.
Unbelievable. He's going to raise to $160,000. He had to look back at his cards and make sure, are those two aces again?
Right. Well, we say nothing sweeter than a repeater.
And we'll see if he can get paid off like he did last time. He maximized that hand last time. We'll see if he can have the same luck on this hand with his pocket aces. Action now over to the 9 seat of Joe. He's going to fold his hand, as does the 1 seat of Greg. Now we're on Mike, who looks down at 10-9. Mike's in the big blind. We'll see if he defends. He's reaching for chips.
Sometimes you have to be careful what you ask for. If he catches a 9 or a 10 on this flop and it's a 9 or 10 high board, could cost him some chips here.
So Narco Cop's coming along for the ride, and we go to the flop, and it comes out Queen 8 tray, couple of clubs.
Well, a gut shot straight draw for the jack for Mike Y. This is the battle of the Mikes.
And we'll start with Narco Cop. He checks over to Mike D. That is his nickname. I'll say it again. He told us we could call him Narco Cop as he works in the narcotics tactical unit for the Chicago Police Department.
He actually asked us to call him that, so it's legitimate, folks.
So Mike D's going to bet $170,000 with his pocket aces.
Well, this is the problem with calling the 9-10 offsuit before the flop. Now you just about have to see a turn card.
Mike Y is married. He has 2 children, JR and Matthew. Wanted to give them a shout out. I'm sure they're at home watching this on national television. Turn card now is the 5 of hearts. Nothing changed with that street. And now Mike's going to check over to Mike D.
Oh, Mike D's got to go to Value Town. That's something kind of strange-ish. Maybe $300,000, less than half the pot for sure, and try to get ultimate payoff here.
So much on the line here at the Ameristar Casino Hotel East Chicago. Up top, $142,386. Well, Mike D is actually going to check this, and we go to the river card. It's the Tray of Spades.
Well, that looks like a good card for 2 aces. It seems like a pretty innocent card.
And now Narco Cop is reaching for chips, going to try to bluff at this thing. But
only way he can win the pot is to try to bluff because he's got 10 high.
Now he's only betting $150,000. We see this a lot on the HPT. I think the bet, no matter what, has to be bigger than 150,000 chips.
Yeah, unfortunately for Mike Y, his bet sizing was very poor here, but I think Mike D's going to raise it up anyway.
So Mike D's going to raise to $500,000. Now a lot of players would just flat here thinking, he's either A, not going to call me, or I'm going to get called by a better hand in this situation.
Yeah, you know, the 3 looks like it's a pretty good card for 2 aces. I like that raise. Try to get the maximum payoff.
Mike's going to fold, and Mike's going to win. It's a battle of the Mikes. This time it's Mike D that comes out on top, and when we come back, we'll have more exciting final table action. You're watching the HPT. Welcome back to the Ameristar Casino Hotel East Chicago. It's James Larson and Robert Williamson III. And looking at the chip counts, no, he's not from the Beastie Boys, but Mike D is our chip leader.
He is on top, but Jeremy right up there with him. And our former chip leader to start the day, Greg, has continued his slide down the chip ladder.
We'll start on the 1 seat with Greg. He looks down at 9-6. He's going to fold. Action over to the 2 seat. Ooh, look at this. Pocket jacks for Narco Cop.
Well, he's going to surely make a move with these 2 jacks.
And it looks like he's looking at his chips here. Well, he is looking at his chips, just trying to figure out how much he's going to raise. Some people don't like jacks. Some people run bad with jacks.
I like any big pocket
Exactly.
pair anytime I can get them.
It's always funny when people ask me what my favorite hand is, too. Well, what do you think my favorite hand is? They're
Choices,
aces. Come on,
of
give me a
course.
break. Now action over to Jeremy with the mustache. Looks down at King 4. He's in the small blind. He's going to get rid of his hand. Over to Joe now in the 9 seat. We'll see if he defends. The raise, as you can see, is to 160,000 by Narco Cop. Joe looks down at a fun hand to play in the big blind. 8-7 suited in hearts.
Yeah, well, when you've already got 80,000 in the pot, another 80, 7-8 suited, I like it. I like
These
this
suited
call.
connectors, we see it here on this television show week in and week out. Those hands can turn into monsters, and especially against a hand like Pocket Jacks if he does hit the flop.
See the flop here?
Heads up, we go a pot of over 400,000,
There's 5 of
and the
diamonds.
flop is
Oh,
Jack
my goodness.
9-5.
But also, interestingly enough, a double gut shot straight draw for Joe.
Yeah, Joe definitely got a piece of this with the fact that he's got that double gutter ball.
Well, if I'm Mike here, because of being 2 diamonds on the board and also potential straight draws, I'm definitely betting my top set. You know, sometimes I slow play them, but this time I'm definitely going to have to make a bet if I'm Mike Watt.
And Robert, that can be such a tough decision because so much is going through your mind. Do I slow play this here? Do I bet it? Do I make a big bet? Do I make a medium-sized bet? Do I check? Do I check raise here? That's what I love about poker. It's such a chess game. There's so much to it.
Lots of options.
Always.
And so many times, James, there's more than one right way to play a hand. There may be 2, 3, 4 different ways to play a hand that are all technically correct.
And now Joe's going to go ahead and make the call. He's going to speculate on one more street here. The king of spades now comes on the turn.
Well, once again, now that puts us straight possibly out there. If I'm Mike and it's checked over to me, I'm going to make a little bit bigger bet this time. Maybe 400,000, a little more than half the pot.
Mike with 3 jacks in control of the hand. It's just a matter of can he get maximum value now? Because really Joe has got nothing over there. He's just on a stone cold draw.
Well, also the problem with Joe's straight draw, one of them just got kind of complicated. If a 10 comes now, it puts a 1 card straight that's higher than the one that Joe would make. So Joe makes a good lay down. Mike is going to take down this pot with a set of jacks.
And you can hear the people in the audience. He's got a lot of fans alongside the rail. He's from the Chicagoland area, plays a lot of poker around these parts, and he made it to his first HPT final table.
Well, there was a lot of clapping just now. I'm going to guess there's no drug dealers in that audience.
Probably not. Probably not. These guys probably got some enemies out there, too. He puts the bad guys away for good. Pocket deuces now for Greg in the 1 seat. He's going to raise to 160,000. And now Narco Cop wakes up another hand. He's got ace-king.
Well, I'm going to try to define where my hand is right now. If I am in this spot, I'm going to re-raise right here, right now.
And we've seen these heaters for the cards come in groups of 2 and 3. We saw it with Mike D, and now we're seeing it with Narco Cop here as he's picking up another big hand and just playing the heater. He's going to re-raise to 400,000.
I would have preferred a little bit bigger raise. And here's my reasoning, James. When you have ace-king, you want to see all 5 cards. Well, it looks like he's going to have the chance to. Rob goes all in. I was right in the middle of explaining that.
605.
Wow, Rob all in with his pocket sevens.
605 is the total amount.
Action now over to Jeremy. Looks over at Queen A. This should be an easy fold for him, even though he is in the big blind. He's going to do just that. Now Greg's going back to his pocket deuces, which look much smaller after a re-raise and an all-in. And Narco Cop's going to make the call here, and he's going to see it's a classic race situation. Couple of big overs, suited in hearts, going up against the pocket sevens.
It sure is, and Rob's the one whose tournament life is at jeopardy here.
Which hand would you rather have here before the flop, Robert?
Oh, ace-king's always so much more exciting.
And look at this, Robbie. 10-7 tray, all clubs. Rob flops a set.
Pretty good flop. Above par.
Unbelievable. Neither player holding a club in their hand. We go to the turn card now. It's the deuce of hearts, and Narco Cop is drawing dead as the king of diamonds comes on the river. Does help Mike's hand, but not enough. Rob's going to win the hand with his 3 of a kind, 3 sevens, and take down a pot of almost 1.6 million chips. When we come back from this quick commercial break, we'll have more exciting final table coverage. You're watching the HPT. Welcome back, everybody, to the Ameristar Casino Hotel East Chicago. I'm James Larson, joined by Robert Williamson III. You've got the chip counts, my friend. What do they look like?
I sure do. Mike D's still up on top, but him and Jeremy are starting to separate away from the pack. Joe's going to have to make a move soon. He's our short stack at the moment.
Right now, the minimum cash here at this final table, $23,835. Up top, though, the big cash, $142,386 for our champion. You get the bracelet, you get the cash, and you get the bragging rights. It's all pretty cool right here on the HPT. And if you want to join us here on the HPT, check out our webpage at hptpoker.com. Who knows? Maybe you'll be playing for the life-changing cash. Action on Rob. Speaking of roller coasters, he's been up, he's been down, he's been all in, he doubled up, and now he's going to raise to $210,000 with his ace-10. Mike D's going to get out of the way. If I had to predict a winner right now, I'm going to say Mike D. Not just because he's our chip leader, he's just playing the best of everybody here at this final table that I've seen thus far. Folded around now to the 9 seat of Joe. Looks down at ace-4. Joe hasn't said too much at the final table. I haven't seen him talk to anybody. I haven't seen him smile.
I was going to say, when you said hadn't said too much, I don't think he said a word.
Well, he just said all in, or at least he pushed his chips out in front of him. And action back to Rob, and Rob's going to quickly make this call. And he's going to see he's way ahead. He's ace-10 against ace-4.
Right about that. Anytime you can have anybody else nominated, I know it's still, he wins 26% of the time. I can see that. But that's about the best you could hope for. Have your money in there, about 3-1 favorite. That's fantastic shape.
The flop is 9-7 deuce, couple of clubs, so no real help there for Joe. He still trails Rob's ace-10. We go to the turn. It's the king of spades.
Well, now only a 4 can save Joe, or we're going to say adios to him.
River card is the 6 of clubs, and that is going to do it. Talked about Joe not smiling. He's probably not going to smile now, but he's going to the cage to collect $23,835. The action continues now from the Ameristar Casino. $50,000, $100,000 are the blinds, a $10K ante. It's James and Robert hanging out here in the Chicagoland area.
I think I've said this once before, James, but let's get this up out of the mud. I love it when the blinds get nice and high.
And look at this for the third time tonight. Pocket aces. They're moving around the table a little bit now. Yeah, it's not just Mike D.
At least they're getting redistributed.
Yeah, well, to another Mike. This is Narco Cop who picks up the pocket aces, and he's going to go ahead and raise it up to $200,000. Now, Rob's got a hand on the button here. Jack-10 of spades.
We used to always talk about defending from the big blind, but I've noticed more and more poker these days, a lot of players defend their button.
Rob told us before the start of play he's a proud new uncle. His niece Jane lives in Boston. Rob's going to make the call. Action now on Jeremy. Looks down at King 8. Again, I love the hat. It's just a mustache. I've never seen a mustache hat before. Jeremy loves playing in his home game. He talked about that. All the guys over at Jimmy's game cheering him on. He's got his girls watching him at home, and he wanted to say hello to his girlfriend, Caitlin. I always tell guys, you got to be careful when it's your girlfriend. You know, they may not be your girlfriend by the time the show airs. Jeremy's going to make the call, so it's three-handed to the flop, and it comes out King, Queen, 4, couple of diamonds, and really a little something for everybody there, Robbie.
Sure is, James. Rob flops an open-end straight draw. Jeremy flops top pair, but still in the commanding lead. Mike Y. Now, this is a highly coordinated board. I don't think Mike Y can afford to let any Cree cards come off here.
That's why it's nice to start with the best hand in poker. Even with a big flop like that, the ace is still in the driver's seat. Narco Cop is reaching for chips. This guy's been around some of the biggest gangsters and drug dealers in the Chicagoland area, and now he's playing poker against some of the best grinders here in the Chicagoland area, trying to take down his first HPT title. The bet is $275,000. Rob makes the call, and I got a feeling Jeremy's going to make the call, and he does that as well.
$275,000 and the call.
So Narco Cop's got to be thinking, all right, now maybe I need to bet a little more on this street. The Queen of Spades now on the turn.
Now that's actually a pretty good card for Mike Y's hand, because most likely your opponent's not playing second pair right there. It looks like a dangerous card, but if I've got two aces, I actually like that turn card.
I guess it's only a dangerous card if your opponent has a queen in their hand, right?
Well, yeah, it's kind of like that old saying, it works until it doesn't.
Right, and it's nice. We've got the whole cameras. Everybody at home can see him, but it's harder when you're there on the felt. Trust me, it's much harder not having the access that we have, and it's a bet of $450,000 by Mike Y.
And I think Rob is probably going to get away from this. Now that the board's paired, anytime the board's paired and you're on a draw, unless you're drawing at the nuts, it's hard to keep drawing.
No, this is where your reading abilities are so important. Does Jeremy have any idea what Mike's holding? You got to remember, Mike was the pre-flop raiser. He's been the aggressor the entire hand. 6 of spades now comes on the river.
And that looks to be a very safe card for Mike Wise, 2 aces. I think he's going to go to Value Town here.
Yeah, he's really gotten maximum value out of these aces, and he's going to, and he's probably not going to get paid off on this street, but it's already a pot of 3.2 million chips, Robbie.
Yeah, I like this bet. I might have bet something a little tiny bit less. He was in that kind of no man's land with 800,000, a little over that left. This is a tough call for Jeremy.
And Jeremy makes the call, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable. And now a pot of over 4 million chips going to Narco Cop. Unbelievable. Well, Robert, we just got done talking about reading your opponent, and obviously Jeremy didn't have the right read on that one. So you're going to want to check out our show next week as we have the conclusion, and we'll crown our new HPT champion. Now, if you're watching this and you think you have what it takes to play right here on the national level, why not give it a shot? Check out our webpage at hptpoker.com, and who knows, maybe you'll be playing for the life-changing cash. For Robert Williamson III, I'm James Larson, and we'll see you next time right here on the HPT.